Welcome to Blackpool and welcome to the Blackpool Illuminations 2020. The Illuminations started in 1879 and the last time we actually went the full route of them was for the 125th anniversary, which was a couple of years ago. And since then, to be fair, we've kind of looked at them whether we've been up here or we've left before they've been switched on. So it's been a long time since we've gone down. Now they are fairly static, to be fair, in terms of what they look like, but there are some tweaks every year, there are some new lights every year, there are some new displays every year. Now normally, for the whole of the history of the Blackpool Illuminations, it switched on around about the beginning of September. It was the, I think, 4th of September this year, and it's on for 66 nights. This year, unprecedentedly, for the very first time in history, it is going to be on till the 3rd of January, 122 nights. That's to boost tourism in the area, and that's to get people coming back to Blackpool. Whilst we are still in the middle of a pandemic crisis, it is important to come out and support the local economy. And of course, you know, unless we're in lockdown again, this can all be done from the car. Now, as it stands, we always do this from the car. And believe it or not, from the pleasure beach, which is around about the start, right the way back to down here, has taken us up to 2 hours to drive. It's approximately a 6-mile stretch to the lights, but it's taken us up to 2 hours to drive it, with an average being around about an hour and 20 minutes. So don't be fooled. As soon as you get here, it's really dark. At the moment, it's still a little bit dusky, to be fair, but as soon as you get here and it's really dark, it gets carnage. And they do actually recommend, watch out for the tram. There we go. They do actually recommend that when you come to Blackpool and you look at the lights, that you do walk it. Now, coincidentally enough, I've parked down at the pleasure beach, so I've already walked the length of it with the lights off. So this will be the first time me walking the length of it on the way back. And we thought we'd start with these boards because, again, a lot of people kind of cut off at the roundabout. You'll see when we get down to the roundabout, it's got a little fighter jet on it. A lot of people sort of cut down on the roundabout and don't come down to these boards. And these boards are lovely, and they kind of dictate, you know, some famous scenes, and they, you know, some sort of stunt scenes. You've got Alice in Wonderland coming up as well. I mean, look at this stunt driver, look, he's just about to go over here. He's revving up, ready? He's revving. And off he goes. So some beautiful scenes, some really, really beautiful scenes. Some of them sponsored as well. You get Pleasure Beach ones down the bottom. There used to be McDonald's ones, I don't know if there still are, but there's been various sponsored ones as well. But they are just stunning, stunning to look at. Now we won't show you obviously the whole walk. The whole walk is going to take us about just over an hour, I would think, to get back down to the pleasure beach. But certainly the highlights we're going to switch on, and we're going to show you these stunning lights. We have put videos up on the channel before for the lights. If you want to look back at previous years, head back and have a look. You know, this time of year, there's not a lot of Halloween on, there's not a lot of theme parks to visit. So we're taking in everything we can, and things like this are just stunning. I mean, look, this is the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. Just beautiful, beautiful scene, beautiful lights. Really, really stunning. And we've got Basil Brush. Stick a like on here if you remember Basil Brush. I have no idea if he's still going, to be honest with you. I'm guessing he is. And then we're going to move on to Noddy. I know Noddy's still going. He is sadly animated now. Never used to be animated back in my day. None of these used to be animated back in my day. Probably showing my age more than anything else. But of course, it's just a stunning set of scenes as you just go down here, and the lights are beautiful. We'll turn around. The lights actually that are along this bit, tram again. The lights that are along this bit are a little bit plain. I think it's because they want you to sort of look over at these boards. Little bit muff fit there. There's a spider coming out. Look at that, look. You'll also see council people. The council people do come along all night long, making sure that the key displays are working. They also replace bulbs while it goes on. And as I said, as it is on for another couple of months yet, it is highly imperative that they do that. A random scene here. Now we can get a bit closer here, so we're going to look out both ways for a tram, and we're hopefully going to see the Illuminations tram as well, which comes along at night, and we can get a little bit closer to this. So the roads might seem quite quiet at the moment, so this is probably the quieter end of the Illuminations, but it does certainly get busier when you get down towards the tower. You can see the tower in the background. Again, since we covered it last, the tower has undergone restoration. It's undergone completely new lighting set as well, so it does look stunning. And we've got some clips as well if you want to stop here and watch some clips. There's our own little projector going all night. I don't know what this one is. So we've got the Haunted Hotel here. I have no idea what it's playing, but look how cool that looks. We've got some lights there, we've got a projection screen up top, and it just looks that looks fantastic, doesn't it? Look at that, and you've got the trees either side of it. Trees either side, and you've got some ghosts flying through the hotel roof there. Ah, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Move down to some of the side panel displays as well, show you those before we head sort of towards the tower. And then once we're at the tower, the whole strip really is illuminated, and I mean really is illuminated. It will be buzzing with people. We're keeping our mask on today while we walk this stretch, but it will be buzzing with people. There'll be loads and loads of families and children with little light sticks. The horse and carts will be out, they'll all be illuminated, and hopefully as well we get to see the tram. Fingers crossed. Down to the Northern sponsored ones here. These are nice lights. These are like neon ones, very different to sort of the LEDs that are being displayed everywhere else. I mean, certainly back in the day these would just been standard bulbs, you know, your old household bulbs, but you can tell now by the light changing that, you know, most of these have been upgraded to LEDs over the past few years. It's not been that long, to be honest with you. Probably saves them some money, to be fair. It costs approximately 2.4 million to run these lights. Approximately 2.4, and that is kind of a bit of everything. And you know, many years ago where we came up here and we started viewing these lights, we're talking sort of 15-20 years ago, they used to take them down and put them up every single year, all the time. So end of the season, when did they go off? Must have gone off sort of beginning of November. They would come along, they would take them all down, and then sort of it would start. I mean, we used to come up sort of early summer, early July, and they were already putting them back up. And I always said I don't really understand the point, to be perfectly honest with you, with them doing it. It just seems utterly pointless. And then all of a sudden, about sort of 10-12 years ago, they stopped, and now they leave them up all year and just sort of maintain them from there. So a lot of them have been upgraded sort of on the fly, and a lot of them got a lot of maintenance when they were taken down. But yeah, 2.4 million was the cost. Again, whether that includes putting them up and taking them back down, we don't know, but I mean, the electricity that must go into this alone is staggering, to be honest with you, staggering. I'm hoping that the LED lights they're now using are more energy efficient, and of course it does rely on donations. So at the beginning and end there is a massive donation box for you to donate. I think they recommend £5 or £10. We see a lot of cars donating as we go past. We'll donate when we get down to the final box as well. Because you know, these are a wonder. These are an absolute wonder. When we look at sort of historical things in the UK, you know, as a theme park channel, we go to Blackpool Pleasure Beach and we look at the you know, historic roller coasters, Grand National, your Big Dipper. You know, some of them were first of their kind. Big Dipper was the first one, you know, to use upstop wheels, for instance. There's a lot of history around the theme parks, which is generally what we do. But you know, there's other history in the UK, and you know we like visiting attractions, and we always document attractions for you as well. And this one is right up there. Right up there. And it's beautiful art. It's just beautiful artwork. All these are. Absolutely beautiful. And you can see it's starting to get busy coming in. And you can see the stream of cars coming out. And you know, it's staggering really, because you can't get people down the promenade to do 30 miles an hour at the best of times. So switch the lights on, everyone drives down here at 20. It's one of the safest places to be. Some gorgeous lights. We're going to head down to the roundabout now. The roundabout is where a lot of people turn off and don't come up here and see the boards. So do make sure if you are coming by car that you get up here and see the boards and go the full route. Don't switch off at the roundabout. It's a quicker way out of town, but you'll miss some of the best lights. Here at the roundabout, the spotlights from the fighter jet rain high into the sky. Hopefully you can see those on the camera. And you can see also it's a lot more darker now than what it was when we started this journey. Here we are at the Circus Displays. You can see the Blackpool Tower in the background, but here's tram. Here's one of the light illumination tours. Look at this tram. I don't actually know how much it costs, to be honest with you, to go on it. I don't want to tell you that I do, because I don't. But here you can see Circus advertised. You know, the Blackpool Tower Circus in particular. Again, a world famous circus. And when you go inside as well, I mean, it is on your Merlin Pass now. So where Merlin own the tower, obviously you can get in there on it. And even during this pandemic time, you do have to pay £5 for the circus, which is still a bargain, an absolute bargain, to be honest with you. Really, really is a bargain. But the circus has been around again for, I don't know how long, over 100 years. And you know, it's worth noting as well, because I think it's really heavily forgotten, that the circus, we went to the circus, been to the circus many, many times, and it was only in 1990, which really isn't that long ago. I know a lot of people think it is, but it's certainly within my lifetime that the circus stopped taking animals in. And that's staggering. It is actually staggering to think that. It's staggering on two levels. One, that they were using these animals as performing monkeys, to be honest with you, and some of them were monkeys. But on the other hand, it's astonishing to think you'd go in there and see a polar bear on a bull, or a tiger or a lion jumping through hoops. This is only 30 years ago, in my lifetime, that you could come to Blackpool Circus and do that. And oddly enough, I don't think it was banned until the mid-90s, so potentially travelling circuses had animals long after them. I know there are some horror stories around. I certainly don't condone it by any means, but it is fascinating to think that in my lifetime I could have come to Blackpool, you know, circus, probably none the wiser, to be honest with you, walk in and see a polar bear on a bull. So let us know in the comments below. Let us know in the comments below, did you come to Blackpool Circus when there were animals here? What do you remember of it? What do you remember seeing? I can't get my head around it. I genuinely can't get my head around potentially going to the circus and seeing a lion jump for a hoop. Fully grown lion jump for a hoop. I can't get my head around it. But these lights here, these dictate the wonderful circus history of Blackpool. As I said, you can see the tower in the background. We're going to get closer to the tower in a minute, and you can see that gorgeous light display it's got going on now. Again, last time we came, the lights on there were awful. They were falling apart. There was no sequence like this, but that is a massive highlight now to Blackpool. I imagine when we get down to the Pleasure Beach end, you're going to be able to see that. Approaching ever close to the Blackpool Tower. Here's a tram. Here's a tram. We've got the fountains, which kind of starts the mermaids off down the side. And again, just lovely, lovely centerpiece of this one, as well as kind of side decorative pieces. You got a sprinkle fountain, you got a drop fountain from the top, before we sort of go into mermaids. I don't really know who dictated the theme of the Blackpool Illuminations, to be honest with you. I said, I know some of these are retro, been around many, many years. Some of them have been updated, some of them hasn't been changed at all. But I don't know what the original meanings are of these. I can't lie to you, I just don't know. They are fascinating to look at. Graphically brilliant. And the tower in the background just looks amazing. It really does. It is a bit sad that the wheel doesn't seem to have its lights working this season. Usually the wheel over here is a massive point, kind of stand out on Central Pier. Central Pier's had a lot of problems this year. But yeah, no lights on there. Everything is definitely taken by the tower just ahead as we gain ever closer. We head around the corner into the main part of Blackpool. You can see the lights really pick up down there. But first, there's a lovely memorial here. World War I memorial. Follow with these. We have a lovely set of chaser lights here, changing colour. I think we should stop and really take a good look at the lighting display, which the Blackpool Tower has. Once possibly a sore point of the lights, in terms of the size and stature of it, it is undoubtedly now, all of a sudden, one of the highlights. And I remember the little heart on the front when I came to the concert here 3-4 years ago now, which was right where I'm standing now, and it just looked awful. I remember a few shots, it just looked awful, but now just look at it, look how great it looks, look how great the tower looks. Got lights up either side, you've got a whole top piece, and we'll just admire it. We will admire it for a minute or so at some of the sequences it's got going on before heading down the main strip. And I can tell you now, it is certainly busier down the main strip. Now I don't know if you can see from here, but actually inside the glass floor, because you should be able to make out the glass floor. The tower isn't open tonight, coincidentally. We have been up there before in the Illuminations, but generally the tower still shuts. It's a typical Merlin attraction that shuts way before it should do, and 5 o'clock is the closing time. But actually inside the glass floor there are interchangeable lights as well, so it's not just on the outside that you're seeing this. The lights on the inside are illuminating the inside of the glass floor area in the same colours as the outside. So I can only imagine what this would look like from inside of there. I think it would look absolutely stunning. It really would look stunning. You know, we talk about good lighting packages and things, particularly when we go to fairgrounds. And I certainly think a moment to admire this one. Sure, you can spot a couple of bulbs here and there, but I mean, you know, certainly more from a distance as well. It just looks stunning, absolutely stunning. And the cycle on it is brilliant, but it is fascinating that the lights inside the tower as well go. I just wonder what that would look like at night. I'd love to be up there right now, either on the glass floor or even at the top part. Go back and have a look at the vlog we did from the tower. Top part's 401 feet high. It would just be incredible to look over. And I've seen a few shots as well, people climbing the big one, looking down the promenade at this. But there's nothing like standing next to it, and you really can't appreciate, you know, this by driving past. It is something you should just get out and have a look. But just look at it, absolutely stunning. Right, beautiful cycle display on that. As we look over, as we said, the wheel over here, you can barely see it, to be honest with you. But it is now heading down the main strip and checking out the lights down there. Some more sponsored lights here from the Hounds Hill. I love a little crown look, some little hearts going either way. And of course the arcades are lit up as you'd expect, looking fantastic. And then there's some more Sooty and Sweet ones. I don't remember these ones being here before either. I think they're relatively new. Again, you can usually tell by the LED lighting around the outside. Usually dictates they're fairly new. We're on some rough ground here. Try and stay fairly close to them. Of course, Coral Island, famous arcade. That also suffered a fire a couple of years back as well, but that's bounced through fortunately. A couple of rides in there, monorail, ghost train as well. Has been an absolutely massive arcade. Golden Mile amusements. Didn't know Sooty and Sweet came to Blackpool, to be perfectly honest with you. Pretty sure it's filmed at Breen. I think Merlin have messed a bit of a trick here. For those that haven't seen, the Sea Life has got a wonderful new banner across the front. Very simple, done in stages so it doesn't kind of flap in the wind. But you can't see it. You can't see it. You've got all these wonderful lights and arcades and things advertising what they are. And then you've got the Blackpool Sea Life here. And yeah, you can't see it. You know, given the location of the Sea Life, it would really make sense to you know, give it a bit of an illumination as well. Look at all the horse and carts though, they're out.
Are we having a ride?
Not today.
Make a better video.
We've already walked from that end. The last thing I want to do is go back down there. Now, one of the new highlights for 2020 is the thank you section, the NHS section here. So yeah, these are all lights. These are all lights, and also lit up some of the heroes of the local area. In addition to people already up here, you can nominate local heroes to be added. There is space to add them. I would guess as the pandemic progresses that more will be added to this. But yeah, beautiful rainbow section, lots of waves down here. Really nice, to be honest with you, really nice. As I said, there are very rarely you get sort of new lights. Generally they're sort of recycled, same ones go back up, but completely new section here. And honouring the NHS, the carers, and of course the key workers that kept everything going throughout lockdown. But yeah, beautiful when you think, rather than just having sort of rainbows, look at these waves going across here, just looks stunning. You can see Madame Tussauds Blackpool behind. Again, slightly missed a trick, can't see it. I don't think I'd want that lit up in front of the NHS one, to be honest, but I certainly think the Sea Life one could have done. But you can see all the local heroes are pictured in lights, with some spaces as well for nominations. Got any local heroes in the local area if you are from Blackpool? Get your nominations in, put them up on lights and say thank you. Great to see, really great to see. Now these lights here as well, I don't remember these. I don't think they're new by any means, but I don't remember these. House of Cards coming across. This is what I really like about the lights down this end, is the centerpieces, rather than just having sort of long string lights and you know, a couple of side banners. You get some really, really gorgeous centerpieces with some animation. Really, really nice. Of course, there's Central Pier. Rides are still going around, quite late at night now. Rides are still going. There we go. So I'll sort of eat my words now, because from this side, the wheel is lovely lit up, and it has definitely got some new LED since we last saw it. There we go, look at that. So proper symbolic sight here of the wheel and the Blackpool Tower looking fantastic. I'm gonna use that word a lot. It's the only way I can describe this. I think it's the only way I can describe it. Honestly, if you've never been to Blackpool Illuminations, get down here. Get down here. I do recommend a walk if you can manage it. I do appreciate it's quite a long way. But then look at the traffic. You know, this isn't because of traffic lights, this traffic. This is because people are slowing down to see the lights. And that's in both directions. When you think it starts right the way down the bottom and goes right the way back to where we started, this is a long old queue to be sitting in. A quick look back there as we kind of swap from chaser lights into some new LED sets with like little fountains on the side. Again, some of these sponsors as we come past. We're not going to list out all the sponsors at the end of the day. We're not paid for them, but if you spot them, by all means, go look them up. And the great thing with these is all these look along here, as you can see, go in sequence. It's not the fact that one's doing one pattern and the next one's doing another and the next one's doing another. They all run in identically all the way down. And it really just sort of helped with the consistency of the show. And you get about 6 rows of these, probably about 100 meters apart, I would say. And when you look back, even on the camera, it just looks like a blur of lights. Cars look like a blur. This guy, look, turning around, he clearly forgot the illuminations were on and he's decided he doesn't want to sit in this and he wants to go back the other way. If you're coming up here and you are driving along, honestly, prepare. Probably set aside an hour. Be safe, set aside at least an hour to get through. But as I said, it has taken us up to a couple of hours. But it's just worth it. It's just worth it. Family will enjoy it, the kids will enjoy it. You know, adults alike, there's loads of people out, there's photographers out. Families, teens, couples, adults, everyone is out here enjoying the Blackpool Illuminations. It's showtime, cabaret show. Here are the Illuminations. Again, at Blackpool, well known cabaret shows. So many places in town. Located right down here though, close to the pleasure beach, as we can see ever closer the big one coming up. And these are home as well, some wonderful centerpieces as well as your side ones. But yeah, really showing the show aspect. We're not quite Viva Las Vegas here. Don't discount Blackpool though as a place to be if you want to come for shows. And a good night out. Maybe not during pandemic times, obviously, but once it's all over. You've never been to Blackpool. I know it's like a Marmite place. It's a love-hate place, Blackpool. I say to a lot of people about Blackpool and they're all very much, it's horrible, it's disgusting. I say to a few other people who say they have a wonderful time here. There is so much to do in Blackpool. You kind of have to take it for what it is. There's plenty of sightseeing to do. You know, there's museums to do. Obviously the RAF sponsor museum from up the top is one of the museums. You've got Ripley's down the bottom, you've got bingo, and then of course you have all the Merlin attractions, which include dungeons, tower itself going right up to the top. You've got the circus, you've got the ballroom when it's open. Outside of the tower area, still controlled by Merlin if you own an annual pass. They include the Sea Life Centre and Madame Tussauds. Not to mention one of the best water parks, Sandcastles, is just down here. I've not been in it because it's quite expensive, but you hear nothing but good things about it. So yeah, lots and lots and lots to do. And it is worth noting as well, McDonald's now isn't sponsored. We've got Cubbies here instead. I have no idea who Cubbies are. Someone in the comments, let me know. Cubbies. And the Jewelers has always been sponsored down here as well. But yeah, no McDonald's now. McDonald's obviously decided they don't want to sponsor the lights. South Pier all lit up. Wasn't very busy when we went on South Pier earlier. I've seen the coaster go around a couple of times. We've seen the Hard Rock, the Extreme go around a couple of times. And we can see the breakdance from here as well. You might be able to just see that on the edge before the tram stopping. Fortunately, the tram stopping. But South Pier isn't our destination today. They're about to close. And this is the end of the line. End of the line, people. End of the line. As we are going to cross and have a final look down at the Pleasure Beach section. But here's the South Pier, and it looks like we've made it down to the end of the line. Now, oddly enough, there aren't very many Pleasure Beach ones filmed down there either. There used to be loads and loads of Pleasure Beach ones, but they've now been replaced with kind of LED lights, as you can see, moving up and down. And whilst you can see them going around the corner there is the start of the Illuminations. And this is where we end our tour. Right at the big one, right by the South Pier here. It's been a long walk, a really long walk. Oh, very long walk from one end to the other. So we've walked from here, we've walked right the way down to the end where it started, and then we've walked all the way back showing you some of the highlights of the Blackpool Illuminations. Of course, if you want to spend longer here, you could stop at every one and look at more highlights. You could head down the bottom and you could look at even more down there as well. There is so much to look at, so many side parts, so many projects, and there's some more lights in town as well. It's not just these main ones you see along here, but this is the main of it. And this is where we end our tour. Velvet Coaster. Obviously the old name for the roller coaster in Blackpool Pleasure Beach, which is still there to this day. But from the Illuminations, have you been to the Illuminations 2020? Or even better, are you looking to come to Illuminations 2020? Now they are on till the 3rd of January. They are on every single night. Switch on times are online. If you search Blackpool Illuminations, it will give you the switch on times as it gets darker and darker going into the winter months. But just stunning, stunning. Blackpool Illuminations on for extra. Make sure you don't miss them. But from Blackpool and the Golden Mile, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.